There is something space does to the mind, not suddenly, not like flicking a switch, but gradually, quietly, like erosion, like music played too soft to notice, yet too constant to ignore. It alters your perception of scale, of distance, of self. You begin to measure time, not in minutes, but in orbits. Not in days, but in delta V. The cadence of the human mind, once governed by sunrise and ritual, is replaced by gravity wells and navigation pulses. You leave a planet, you gain perspective. You leave a dozen, and you begin to dissolve. The truth is, space does not expand your mind. It dismantles it. It removes the ceiling, replaces the walls with stars, and in doing so, forces the question, what are you now that you are not bounded? What remains of a person when the horizons are infinite and the ground is gone? We are not built for this, at least not originally. The human brain is the product of forests and firelight, of rivers that meandered, not of voids that yawn. We are born from gravity, shaped by it, and yet we go. We build engines meant to escape it, and we do. We chase worlds as if the next one might complete us. We call them names. We map their contours. We extract their resources. But in the end, we are always left confronting the same strange truth. The more planets you see, the less the word normal becomes a useful word. You stop expecting familiarity. You stop assuming you're the center of any system. You stop believing that warmth means welcome, or that brightness means safety. And so a transformation begins, first in the eyes, then in the tongue, then somewhere deeper. You begin to speak less. You begin to listen more, to gravity, to wind, to systems, to silence. You begin to understand that movement is not the opposite of meaninglessness. It is its own form of meditation. The very act of traversal becomes sacrament. You find that the stars are not destinations, but mirrors. That planets are not havens, but hypotheses, each one asking, who will you be in my presence? What version of you will survive here? Some pilots return from long voyages quieter. Some are more measured. Some are restless. Most are never quite the same. Because once you've looked down on a sunrise from above its source, once you've seen clouds forming not over you, but under you, once you've lived without an up or down and realized you continued anyway, something changes, not in your opinion of the universe, but in your opinion of yourself. You are not smaller. That would be a romantic lie. You are not greater either. The real change is more subtle than either. You become precise. You begin to crave systems that make sense, tools that do not pretend, vessels that do not waste. You begin to gravitate toward craft, toward elegance, not as luxury, but as necessity. This is why origin exists, and why you're here, because in all the noise of the galaxy, louder ships, brasher worlds, cruder designs, you came seeking something else. Something that could keep pace not with your ambition, but with your awareness. You found a ship that matched your restraint, and with it you came here. And now, MicroTech waits. A planet without welcome signs, without grandeur, without pretense. They call it cold. as if that were an accusation, as if the absence of warmth implied some failure of design, some moral vacancy in the stars. But I disagree. Cold is not cruelty. It is clarity, a kind of stillness that strips away distraction and leaves only what was always meant to remain. It does not hide behind softness. It does not flatter. It reveals. Unapologetically, there are planets born to welcome life, gentle cradles cloaked in temperate air and lazy growth, where nature unfolds with no resistance and little resolve, where green things stretch and sprawl without purpose, luxuriating in abundance. MicroTech is not one of them. This world, with its frozen breath and sky the color of old steel, offers no such softness. The air stings not because it is angry, but because it is honest. Every gust of wind is a question. Do you belong here? Every snowfall, a reminder that beauty and danger are often one and the same, and still, things grow. They grow not in defiance, but in accordance. They do not conquer the cold. They are shaped by it. Every stalk, every brittle branch, every pine with frost threading through its core like silver veins, they have all chosen stillness as their teacher and survival as their art. They do not shout. They do not bloom loudly. They exist in a state of focused intention. I have watched them from this very vessel just above the frost line, trees that lean not toward light, but toward balance. Shrubs with leaves that curl inward, not to sleep, but to remember what must be preserved. Lichens that grip bare stone like ancient truths, speaking in the language of slow time. Growth is slower here, but more deliberate. There is no waste, no extravagance. Life on MicroTech is lean, quiet, resolute. It knows no audience. It performs for no one. And perhaps that is what draws me here. We so often mistake abundance for success, as if more were better, as if the loudest thing must be the truest. But in the thin air of this planet, surrounded by snow and silence, a different kind of wisdom emerges, one that speaks without speaking, one that thrives without flourishing, one that reminds us survival is not always about strength. It is about fit, about fidelity to one's conditions, about not only enduring the environment, but becoming a part of it. The flora of MicroTech is not ornamental. It does not bloom for applause. It does not beg for admiration. It persists, quietly, unassumingly, and in doing so, it teaches us the essence of elegance, that to exist in harmony with adversity is more dignified than to dominate it. This, too, is the philosophy of origin. We do not build ships for noise. We build them for nuance. For those who understand that refinement is not an accessory, it is a survival strategy, a way of being that does not need permission or applause, a way of being that endures. Here, above a world glazed in frost, I am reminded of that constantly. Our vessels move with intention. So do the trees. So do the plants clinging to life in craters and crevasses. Their beauty is not what they are. It is how they endure. We do not often speak of the interior lives of forests, especially not those bred in labs, engineered to outlast the blueprints that made them. But I believe they remember. not in the way we do, but in the way they bend without breaking, in the way they wait. I believe every ring of their trunks is a record of restraint, every root a memory of compromise, 1,000 quiet decisions made in silence to stay. They do not stretch outward. They do not climb toward conquest. They adapt. They withdraw just enough to remain. They listen to the wind. They bend when it demands it. And yet, they remain. There is a lesson in this, a grace that speaks louder than triumph. Cold makes everything honest. You cannot lie to frost. You cannot charm the wind. If you are not made to last, you do not. And those who remain, they remain because they have become the thing the world required. Not stubborn, not desperate, just refined. So much of life is spent running toward something, chasing heat, seeking affirmation, but here you learn to hold your place, to let the air move through you, to shed only what you must, to keep only what matters. This is not stagnation, this is mastery. In the frost, time slows, but it does not stop. Even the stillness moves, even the ice evolves. It speaks a language made of patience and pressure, and if you listen long enough, you begin to understand it. In time, you begin to notice it in yourself. A thinning of distractions, a sharpening of thought, a patience you did not know you possessed. The cold does not take your strength. It reveals it. It offers you the gift of enough, not more, not less, just what is needed, just what remains. Above this world in the sanctuary of our ships, we are not separate from that lesson. We are participants, witnesses, carriers of a quiet discipline. We move not to escape, but to see, not to reach, but to reflect. The engines hum, the panels sigh, the hull draws a perfect line across the snow-stained clouds, a silent brushstroke across a canvas of chill and cloud, and below us, the trees remain. They do not wave, they do not bloom, they do not beckon, they endure, and in that, they are glorious. I am Sarah Doge, and this has been your Origin Companion experience. Let the cold remain with you, not as something to escape, but as something to remember. The silence, the restraint, the things that grow not to be seen, but simply to be. Let that be enough, and may you carry it with you, like a frost line traced along the edge of your thoughts, wherever you go next.